First Alert Team, the best in Georgia.
Parker's Kitchen is my new daily coffee stop.
Gourmet beans are freshly ground for every cup. Get your own cup of great tasting, freshly brewed coffee at Parker's Kitchen.
Live from Augusta. Breaking news.
Well, breaking news tonight at 6 o'clock. We're learning more about yesterday's school bus crash in Aiken. I'm Wrdw.
And I'm Zana Halliburton. We now know that 32 students were on board the bus when school officials say they were hit by another vehicle. This happened around 3:50 yesterday afternoon on Drag Strip Road near Atomic Road. We now know the students on board were from Jackson STEM Magnet School and Silver Bluff High. South Carolina Highway Patrol says the vehicles hit each other head on and the other vehicle had lost control.
We're told that driver was hospitalized and the bus driver, along with 2 high schoolers, were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Administrators say counselors are checking in on students following this crash. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and update you as we learn more. Switching gears to weather now. Severe weather is on the horizon, and your First Alert weather team is making sure you know what to expect.
Your First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale joining us in the Weather Center. Riley, the weather team is issuing a First Alert for this upcoming Monday. What are the concerns?
Yeah, the concerns, Zana, are going to be strong to severe storms. They do look possible as we head into next Monday. So this is for the last day of March, March 31st. I know it's a good ways away. We don't necessarily have a ton of details, but it does look like the signal is there in our model guidance, and it looks like all modes of severe weather will be possible. So I want to make sure you're staying updated on the forecast. Have that way to receive any updated alerts by having our First Alert weather app that you can download for free.
Tonight, justice for an infant murdered by their own mother. April Short now pleads guilty to stabbing and murdering her 11-month-old child at a home on post at Fort Eisenhower. It's a tragic situation that made national headlines back in November of 2023. Investigators say Short killed her baby to, quote, be with Jesus and God. Short previously pled not guilty in May. As part of her guilty plea, Short agreed to a 20-year prison sentence along with financial penalties and 5 years of supervised release after she gets out. Sentencing will be at a later date. Well, millions of dollars in improvements for downtown Augusta could negatively impact the businesses it's trying to help. Phase 2 of the Broad Street Improvement Project is set to bring the heart of Augusta up to code and improve parking and safety.
But that'll mean parking directly in front of dozens of businesses along Broad Street between 5th and 15th will be unavailable at different points in this process. And that means businesses could be impacted.
Your Sydney Hood joins us live from downtown Augusta. Sydney, it's important to keep in mind this isn't just restaurants and bars affected here.
It's your boutiques, it's bicycle shops, barber shops. Just about every single business on Broad Street is going to be impacted by this construction. Now take a look behind me. This is Broad Street from 15th Street all the way down to St. Sebastian Way. You can see crews are already underway on this portion of the construction, making their way down Broad Street. Now, several of the business owners I spoke to today say they understand the need for improvements, but they want to be a part of the conversation when it comes to these improvements, and that's the message that some business owners brought forward to commissioners today.
In the name of progress, I think it has to be done.
The path to the finish line, however, is bumpy.
We're just going to have to wait and see what really happens and how disruptive it is.
I'm just nervous to see if they're going to be efficient on Broad Street, knowing that it's the main street. And I know they've been avoiding Broad Street for so long because of that.
It's not just 1, 2, or 3 businesses concerned. Until we see plans, I mean, we're not going to be comfortable. Just about any business you talk to has something to share. It's very uncomfortable to be told something but not see proof, and to not know what to plan for. Penelope Ballas Stewart is just one of several business owners going before commissioners with concerns. I kind of gathered from what was said today that we're still on the 500 block going to be losing parking for a bicycle lane, which is unacceptable. We can't afford to lose that much parking on our block. And moving forward, very encouraged to see a few of the commissioners really put some pressure on the engineering committee to make us part of the plan, because local businesses are the heart of downtown.
At the end of the day, we all have each other. So we can either love each other or isolate. So I think just being together is going to get us through any kind of construction or anything that goes on downtown.
Traffic engineering will come back to commission in a couple of weeks to present a revised plan based on some of the community meetings that they've had with some of these business owners on Broad Street.
Well, it's nice to see them voicing their concerns. We know downtown is really a busy area.
And we know they're reconvening in a couple of weeks when we have one of our larger events going on. We have a very large tournament going on, so it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of the people coming into town react to some of that traffic in downtown Augusta. Thanks for the update there, Sydney.
The DNA testing company, Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson, also spoke up today about the potential for your genetic data to be sold if you use 23andMe. He says the best way to protect your personal information is to delete your account. We have the details and a step-by-step on how to do that on our website, wrdw.com.
Well, this week marks 6 months since Hurricane Helene hit our area, and even though the time has passed to apply for financial assistance through FEMA, it's not too late to get help in other ways.
This week, case managers are holding events to connect with anyone who needs guidance throughout the recovery process. Your Audrey Dickerber is live over at Hayden Church in Aiken, where one of these 8 events is happening. Audrey, it might have been nearly 6 months now, but some families are still knee-deep in rebuilding.
Yeah, I spoke to many people that have been coming in and out of these doors today, saying they're still suffering from loss in many different ways from Hurricane Helene. But another form of help is here. All you have to do is come in and sit down at one of these tables and fill out these forms with a case manager.
Well, you can look around and still see the storm. It must cost thousands of dollars to just get the trash picked up.
Looking for help for nearly 6 months.
A lot of damage. A tree that I couldn't even reach around cut my house in 2. So, but I'm not discouraged because we lost a lot of life.
But there's still help here for a long-term disaster relief, and it could be financial, physical, or even emotional help.
Home rebuilds, home repairs, or just simply in need of resources. Meaning if they might have lost food, clothing, furniture.
Offering help regardless of if you applied or were approved for FEMA assistance.
They were definitely excited. Now, well, some kind of confused because they were like, well, I already tried. I tried through FEMA. I said, well, this is on a different spectrum. This is through the state.
Feeling hopeful that getting help is still an option.
This organization has a lot of, seems to have a lot of ways to go about fixing things. The man even said that sometimes they could get people to come out here and help you fix your house just to be nice. So I haven't.
And you can still come out to Hayden Baptist Church until 7 today, but if you are able to make it, you can come out tomorrow or Thursday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you do, make sure you're bringing a proof of identification and social security cards for everyone in your household.
All right, thanks, Audrey, for letting us know about some of those resources. I mean, we know how important it is. So many people still reeling from the hurricane that happened almost 6 months ago.
I know, it's crazy to think that it's been nearly 6 months, but what better way to get help than in person?
Yeah.
We know when the hurricane hit, phone calls and waiting to get that phone call back, it was just going to be difficult at times, but there you go. FEMA officials are still available for you. If you can't make it this week, you can go to disasterassistance.gov or call the number on your screen here to get in touch with FEMA and go over what resources are available for you and your family. We also have all of this information on our website. Still ahead, South Carolina's $1.8 billion blunder was more than a year ago, but tonight the final report explains exactly what went wrong. We'll have that and more for you after the break.
And we are going to continue a lot of sunshine over the next several days, but as we head towards the weekend and into early next week, storms will arrive and some of them could be severe. We'll have a look at that first alert forecast just after the break.
Time and temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team. Introducing the First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First just got faster.
Thanks, Riley. 2 of the top four more financial officials in South Carolina, the Comptroller General and the State Auditor, both resigned in the last few years after being caught up in a multi-billion-dollar fiasco.
Now a legislative panel is calling on a third official, the elected treasurer, to be removed from office, a drastic step that's never happened in South Carolina history. State House reporter Mary Green has been following this story from the start and has the latest development today.
On Tuesday, the Senate subcommittee that's been investigating South Carolina's $1.8
billion debacle, released its final report and recommendations on the issue. Among them is the removal from office of Treasurer Curtis Loftus.
He has not and does not intend to carry out the statutory duties of his office. The level of ineptitude of this treasurer's time in office is not worthy of the citizens of our state.
It comes just over 2 months after the release of an independent audit that found a reported $1.8 billion surplus believed to be sitting in state accounts was actually the result of a years-long accounting error. That outside report found the treasurer, the former comptroller general, and the former state auditor all knew about the error for several years. But no one told lawmakers about it until late 2022, and the error remains on state books.
That's the bottom line, is a mistake was made, and the treasurer tried to cover it up.
The subcommittee chaired by Senator Larry Grooms released its final 49-page report on the matter Wednesday, following more than a year of investigation and hours-long hearings with sworn testimony. That included a tense meeting with the treasurer last month, during which Loftus repeatedly blamed both the former comptroller general and his replacement for the financial discrepancy.
So what did you do wrong in that situation, Mr. Treasurer?
I trusted the Comptroller General. That was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life.
One person who won't be backing the treasurer's removal from office, Governor Henry McMaster. He told reporters last week, ahead of the Senate report's release, that the groups involved in this matter need to turn down the noise.
I don't see any benefit in removing the treasurer, asking him. I mean, somebody can ask him, but I'm not going to ask him because I don't think it'd do any good at this point.
The governor believes the state should focus on the recommendations outlined in the outside audit's report, which largely align with what the Senate report recommends, but do not include the treasurer's removal from office.
And Treasurer Loftus has remained adamant, including in a statement his office put out late Tuesday afternoon, that he has no intention of resigning from the elected position he's held for more than a decade now. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
In that statement released this afternoon, right after the report's release, Treasurer Curtis Loftus characterized the Senate subcommittee's investigation as a, quote, baseless attack. The elected treasurer wrote in part, quote, today's report isn't about accountability, it's a power grab. These elected officials don't want an elected state treasurer, they want an appointed one so they can control billions of public dollars for their own special interests.
Coming up in sports, the Grovetown boys tennis team is changing the narrative on the court. Why they say this year is special. Coming up next in sports.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
You've been in a madness at Gerald Jones Honda.
Get ready for a game changer with Queen City Home Store, now open in your neighborhood. We're your new destination for top-of-the-line home items at unbeatable prices. From sleek refrigerators to powerful washers and dryers to comfortable mattresses and furniture, we've got everything you need to complete your home. Offering simple, stress-free financing options to fit your budget so you can take it home today. And with our price match guarantee and express delivery, why shop anywhere else? Visit us in-store or online today at QueenCityOnline.com.
You've been in a serious crash.
On your sideline, sponsored by Chandler Law Firm.
Well, the sport we're not really known for here in the CSRA, but our local teams are currently changing that. It's tennis. South Lake and Lakeside, Aquinas all have a reputation in the sport, and now Grovetown is entering the conversation. The Warriors are chasing a program first. They've never won a region championship. That's because they've never had the team to do it until this year. The program is undefeated and now enters the GHSA 6A Region 4 tournament as the #1 seed. You're typically at the bottom of the region, and if they bring home the region title, they'll be able to host the first round of state, a complete turnaround for the program.
I feel like we've been disrespected in the past, to be honest with you. I feel like we've been in state every year. We don't get no recognition for that. I feel like if we win this region championship, we'll finally have some hardware to go back up what we've been doing all season, been doing for the last 3-4 years.
We'll have more on that team coming up all News 12 at 11 p.m. Happening now over on our Peachtree Sports Network, the Braves' final spring training game of the year against the Cubs. Cubs hit the go-ahead 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th. It's not the last game to air on Peachtree. 15 regular season games, including the season opener in San Diego on Thursday, will also air on our sister station.
Thanks for that, listen. Taking a look at our 3-degree guarantee brought to you by Tub Doctor. Our forecast 79, actual high 79 degrees, $50 heading towards SOAR Academy of Augusta. And look at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
This is a simple.
Having the patio.
Welcome back, folks. Heading back out to SRP Park. We have Fox Creek taking on Keenan High School, and we've seen a number of runs scored by Fox Creek so far, so I believe they would be in the lead. Haven't seen much action from Keenan just yet, but 77 degrees, still a little bit breezy out there. If you're heading out this evening, we have nice, pleasant temperatures staying in the 70s through at least sunset. Once we get into late tonight, we'll eventually work our way down, most likely upper 40s by early tomorrow morning, so decent weather out there, but just going to be a little bit cool to start off your Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be another very nice day, though. We're expecting a lot of sun. It is going to get a little bit breezy again tomorrow afternoon, maybe some gusts up to 25 miles an hour, but other than that, a beautiful spring-like day with those high temps once again reaching the mid-70s. I'm going to have to watch out for that fire risk tomorrow, but ideally we're going to see better conditions for fire weather by Thursday, and as we head into the weekend, you can see those temperatures are going to be warming up, so hitting highs back into the low 80s Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is going to be thanks to a change in our wind direction, so starting to bring that wind more out of the south. When that happens, not only increasing your temperatures, but also increasing the moisture content in your atmosphere. So a few more clouds Friday. We will see mostly cloudy conditions on Saturday, but most likely going to stay on the drier side for the first half of the weekend. So if you have weekend plans, ideally you want to try to get them in on Saturday. By Sunday, we are expecting the chance for showers and thunderstorms, and you can see as far as the percentage goes between Sunday and Monday, a little bit higher chance Sunday. The reason is since Monday is a little bit further away, there's just less confidence on how much rain and when it's going to show up. So that's why it's only a 30% chance right now, but I'd imagine that does go up over the next several days. First alert in effect Monday. Make sure you're keeping it here for those updates for the rest of the week.
Thanks, Riley. We're back live on 26 News at 7.
And for News 12 at 10 and 11 o'clock. Thanks for watching.